And we have some new information from the National Hurricane Center. They have just updated their probabilities for this Invest area that's now in the Caribbean. So let's take a look at the latest numbers, and they are now giving it a 60% chance of developing within the next couple of days and a 70% chance now of developing within the next 5 days. So they have increased the odds for development for both of those periods, and it certainly is looking pretty healthy on the satellite picture right now. We think this feature is generally going to be making its way into the Gulf of Mexico. And as you mentioned, regardless of what happens with this, we are going to see very heavy rain across the southeast. There's going to be a big feed of tropical moisture coming up, but we may also be looking at some impacts along the coast. Now, the satellite presentation has been very impressive today. You can see how the high clouds are kind of fanning out off to the south and to the east here, and then that's sort of the softer edges indicating very light winds aloft. So that is ideal for strengthening. Also, you notice these little cloud bands right here. That's warm and humid air that's streaming into this circulation. So there may very well be a surface circulation that is developing under this persistent area of thunderstorms. We just don't know if that is the case. So the upper level environment is favorable for strengthening. Certainly there's plenty of warm and humid air, warm water feeding into this system. The big question is, where exactly is low pressure developing, and is it going to be working across the Yucatan Peninsula, which is right here? Certainly if there's a lot of land interaction, that can have an impact on the intensity of the system. So I want to show you what the most recent model, the US GFS model, is saying about this. Here you see the upper high here, that lighter wind aloft that is favorable for intensification. Here's an upper low. One of the big questions is what exactly is the position of that upper low going to be? And the most recent run of the GFS model is more like what the European model has been doing for a while, where in previous runs we've seen a very concentrated area of spin as indicated by this blue shading. In this most recent run, which is more like the European, we're seeing rather strewn out area of spin here, indicating not a concentrated system, but rather just a big feed of moisture coming up and into the south. And that has everything to do with the position of this upper low. If the upper low is right over top of the system that's trying to develop, the wind will be too strong for it to develop. If the upper low is farther west, that will give it an opportunity to develop. So that is among the questions that we need to resolve in the next couple of days here. Will there be a distinct area of low pressure? How strong will it be? But regardless of that, we do know that there's going to be a tremendous amount of tropical moisture coming up and into the southeast, and that's going to mean very heavy rain across a lot of the southeast, anywhere from southern Mississippi and Alabama through northwest Florida into parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. And because the ground is very wet across a lot of the southeast, that will mean a high potential for flooding. And again, there could be coastal impacts. That is possible if we do see a strengthening system, a tropical storm that makes landfall here in the next couple of days, and that would be towards late Friday and Saturday. So we've got a lot to figure out as far as what's going to happen along the coast, but we do know there's going to be a lot of rain and a very serious flood potential, and that's going to be through the weekend into the early part of next week.